Hey guys, welcome to part 5 of the ecommerce app playlist. In the previous video, we stopped inside the login and register view model, and we have implemented the create account function. And in this video, we will actually continue. We'll add some more functionalities to this function, and we also gonna set up our Daggerheld module class, and we're just gonna see how that works, how we can register accounts. So we're gonna test out the app. And before we get started, I just wanna make an edit on this view model, and I want to refactor it and make it only for the register fragment. So let's do that. Right click on the name of your class, then refactor, then click on rename. Then you're gonna just delete the login. So this will be only for the register fragment. And I do this because this will make our project more structured, and there's no point of making a shared view model between the login and register fragment. So we just have a separated view model for each screen in our app. And after that, just click on enter and click on to refactor. Okay, now let's move to the first step, which is our Daggerheld module file. So in this file, we're just gonna tell Daggerheld how to inject these dependencies or the other dependencies we have in our app. So let's actually go inside our root package and let's create a new package and call this DI, which stands for dependency injection. So create it. And inside here, we're gonna have an object. So we're gonna create our module using an object. You can actually use a class, but there's no difference actually. So we're just gonna use an object. And this will be app module. Click on enter. And first thing in this module, we're gonna use this annotation to tell Daggerheld that this is a module. And we're also gonna use this annotation install in. And this will actually specify the life of the dependencies inside this module. So we have many options. We have a singleton component, which is gonna use. So what this means that all the dependencies inside this module will stay alive as long as the app is alive. And we also have activity component, this one. And this will only live as long as a specific activity dies. And we also have service component, and this will just live with the service. We also have, I think, fragment component, yep. So now let's actually go back, because we're gonna use singleton component for this module. And the first dependency we wanna have is this one, is the Firebase authentication. So to declare a new dependency in a module, you're gonna use the annotation provides, because we are going to provide a new dependency, and we're gonna use this annotation singleton. So this will only create one instance throughout the whole app. And here we're gonna have our dependency. So provide Firebase authentication, and this will equal Firebase authentication dot get instance. So what happens now? When we are inside our view model, when Daggerheld sees that we need this dependency, it will go to our module files and it will check where do we have this dependency. So it goes to our app module file and it finds that we provide this dependency in this function. So it will take it and it will inject it inside this constructor. Okay, now this is not enough for Daggerheld to work. We need to do one more thing. We need to give Daggerheld some privilege to be able to create classes, to access our context. So to do that, we are gonna create a new application file. So let's go here and call this, let's call Klein, which is the app name, Klein application. And we just gonna extend from application. Then we wanna annotate this with health Android app. And now go to your manifest. You know, we need to add our application class inside our manifest, inside the application tag. So in here, we're gonna add name and we're gonna give it our class name, which is a client application. Okay, now let's go to our register fragment and let's actually work in there. So when you have fragment or activity that is gonna use Daggerheld, you need to consider to annotate it with Android entry point. And now let's actually set up our fragment. So first of all, let's have our binding. So here private let init var binding, which is fragment register. I think I have not enabled binding inside my project. Yup. So to enable binding, you just need to go to module level of your build created file, and in here we're gonna type build features, open curly brackets, then view binding, and type true. Now click on sync now, and get back to your fragment. Let's click on here. We are supposed to see our generated class. Here it is, so click on it, and now we're gonna override the onCreateView function, and in here we're gonna initialize our binding. So binding equals to fragment register binding.inflate. We're gonna pass the inflator, and in here we return the root layout of that binding instance. Can delete this question mark, and then we finally can override the onViewCreated function. Okay, we still need the view model, so we're gonna get the view model. We can get it like that. So private val view model by view models, this one, and here we will pass the class, which is register view model, and that's it. Okay, now what I want to do is to set a click listener on the button. Let me show you. So to set a click listener on this button, and then we're gonna call the create account function from our view model. Let's do that. So we're gonna have binding dot apply, and we're gonna set a click listener on the button. So button register dot set on click listener, and inside here we're gonna create our user. So user equals user, and we want to get the first name. So ed first name register dot text dot toString, and then we trim it. So the trim function will remove the spaces at the end and at the first of the string. Okay, now let's go and get the last name, which is ed last name register text dot toString dot trim. Same thing for the email. And for the image path, just leave it empty. Now we also want to get the password. So password equals ed password.text.toString, but don't use trim with this one because password can have empty spaces. And finally, we're going to call the view model dot create account with email and password. We're gonna pass our user and we're gonna pass our password. And now we're going to observe the register operation. So let's do that. In here, we're gonna have a life cycle scope dot launch when started, and inside here we're gonna collect our flow. So view model dot register dot collect, and here we'll get an instance from our resource which has a Firebase user. So here you're gonna see how the resource class make everything easier, as I told you before. Now we're gonna check when it's loading. So resource dot let's import resource dot loading. So we know this is the loading case, and when it's resource dot success, so we know the register has successed, and when it's resource dot error, then we know there's something bad. Okay, so inside the loading case, what we are gonna do is just to launch our button animation. So binding dot button register dot start animation. This shouldn't take any parameters actually. What is going on? Let's go to our design. Let's see this button. Oh, okay. We actually used the wrong button. We should have used the button with the animation that comes from the library. So that button called circular progress button. Yup, this one. So now we should, yup, the error has gone. So we're gonna edit that inside the login fragment as well, but when we get to that. So that's it for the loading case. Now when the register operation success, so we are just gonna log.d, just gonna log this it.message.toString. When we get an error, we're gonna also let's say log.e this time, and we're gonna use the tag. So we're gonna log the error message it.message.toString. In here we're gonna actually log the data, not the message, and let's actually create this tag on the top of our class. So val tag, which is the same name of our class. Make this private. Do we have something missed? Yup, we need to stop the animation when we register or when we get an error. So binding button register revert animation. Copy this line and put it down in the error state, in the error case. And this is it. Everything should work. But we have not set up our navigation yet. Let's do that. But we have not set up our navigation yet. So let's do that quickly. Let's go to our activity, to the login register activity, go to the design, and in here we're gonna delete all of this. We just use this to demonstrate how the register fragment will look like. So first let's actually create our navigation graph. So go to here, click on here, then navigation. This is login register graph, and let's add the fragments. So we are gonna have the login, first the introduction fragment, of course. We're gonna have the login, and we're gonna have the register fragment. So let's see. Now from the introduction we can go to the login, and from the login we can go to the register fragment, and from the register fragment we can go to the login fragment. If you want to show the preview of these fragments, you can click on split. Let's zoom out, and you can go inside each fragment and you can add the layout tool, and here you're gonna pass here the introduction fragment. So now as you can see you have a preview of your fragment. Let's do it for the other fragments. So layout, this is for the login, and this is for the register. Okay, let me take these and put them close to each other. Okay, now get back to the activity, and in here we are gonna go to the design. Then inside your search bar, and you're gonna search about nav host fragment, this one, drop it here, and then you're gonna select your graph. So as you can see, it suggests your graph's names. We have only one graph, which is the login and register graph. Select it, click on OK. Now that's it. But if you launch our app, we actually forgot to add one fragment here. So let's get back, and the account option fragment, we forgot to add it. That was my bad. So let's add it here. So from here we're gonna change the links. So this will be from here. We're gonna cancel this one. How do we cancel this actually? We can do it from the code. So just delete this one. And from the account options we can go to the login, and we can also go to the register fragment. Okay, and let's add the preview for this fragment. Layout, account options, click on here, and if we now launch our app, we won't be able to navigate to our register fragment. But for now we can use a trick. So we can click on the register fragment and we can make it as the home fragment. So this nav graph will start from the register fragment, and we'll change that later of course, but I just want to demonstrate to you that the register operation works. So now let's launch our app, and let's open our logcat, I have got an error. Let's see what does it say. Seems like it's from Hilt. Gives us this error from our activity. I think we need to add this annotation to our activity as well. So this is supposed to work now. Oh, yep, that works. We have a little problem here. The animation starts automatically, and this is probably because we have given an initial value of resource.loading. So we need actually to change that. We need to put something else. We can't put success because it's not success yet, and we can't put fail as well. So I think I'm gonna need to edit on the resource class. So I think I'm gonna add one more class and call this unspecified and extend from the resource, and this will take t as well. Get back here, gonna add that. So resource dot unspecified, and because we changed that, we're gonna need to add the resource case in here, and we only can emit values inside this using a coroutine scope. So we can just use running running blocking, and we can emit resource dot loading. Now get back to the fragment, and in here, as you can see, we need to add else. So just gonna do nothing, and that's it. Let's launch the app again. Okay, now let's type the first name, the second name, the email, password, and let's register. Okay, now let's go to the logcat, and as you can see, test here and as you can see here, we have printed the test logcat. So that means that we have registered a new account. And if we go to our Firebase console and we go to the authentication, and as you can see, we found a new user in this list. But one thing I have noticed is the color of the progress bar of this register button. Let's change that. Let's go to the design of this fragment, click on the button, and here we're gonna actually change something called spinning bar color. Yep, I'm gonna change it to white. Let's create a new account. Type the first name, last name, password, and create that. Okay, now it works. If we go to the Firebase console, we should see another account. Let's refresh, and yup, here is the other account. I don't want to make this video longer than this, so I will stop here, and in the next video I will actually show you how we can handle the wrong inputs of this edit text, and I will also add one more functionality to this function. So as I said, it's enough for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day and catch you in the next video.